The soldiers finally escaped the perplexing confines of the Wallbreaker ship, having established a tenuous alliance with the ghostly shade who maintains the illusionary space in the wide area around you. You agreed to hunt down his son. And his request was that you kill him. In his vague description of a untamed bestial mutation. He acknowledged the slight possibility that he could be saved of some sort, but had already settled on death being a mercy to his son, trapped in the form that he is. Left, gathered a bunch of goodies, finding quite the load of loot between the ship and the nest of the Deep Crows. Seamus took a nap on a pile of gold coins, waking up with several of them stuck to his face as Dro came in to say hello. And Dyer became solemn, feeling like his part to play with you lot had come to its close, and it was time for him to move on, to use his powers of storytelling to not just theoretically or artistically make the world a better place, but to spread the news tactfully about this hidden location, this corruption magic, and thus surreptitiously force everyone into the trap of the magic that makes it impossible for them to find it if they know what they're looking for. And lots of discussion was had. And the soldiers are still, I believe, in the galley, having an extended breakfast. Or where is everybody at this point?
I think we were in here together and we were going to go looking to help repair the ship next.
Yeah, I think we already took off to repair the ship because Dro went and spoke to Dyer at the end. Muted.
Already starting strong. It's because I only had my coffee like 1 minute before the session started. Okay, so general setup here. You guys have 2 or 3 more days worth of travel before you get to where you're going. It's easy enough to get the repairs done. The ship's not at 100% because there's some materials that just can't be substituted. But the normal things, it's a few days' work of getting your hands dirty, ripping up old destroyed boards, fixing various filigree. Tyrion does a great job of showing you guys how to kind of maintain and repair the ship, and her little series of robotic helpers move about for some of the more intricate and detailed work, especially things that are higher up or out of reach or tucked into small spaces. So the ship repairs are largely taken care of during the leg of your journey. Hi, Doggo Face. I know that dog is so small, but because of its proximity to the camera, it looks large.
Yeah, and
Hi, Poppers.
I'm a Doberman.
Mhm.
I'm a big dog.
He's very much the opposite.
I'm so happy that they fixed the action bar.
Did they?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they
It's
did.
so convenient now.
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to see like where my
Bonus
bonus
actions,
actions and reactions. Yeah, yeah.
And they have the distance on the spells now too. Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Dope.
Bro, why is it your token is always the one that breaks?
What do you mean? I have it open right now.
Not on the new map. There we go.
I still see the galley.
I go ahead and refresh because I just put everybody in the helm.
I love technology.
I don't see him on the helm.
I see him in the helm.
I see him
I
right
see
next
his-
to you, Rosalind.
I see his
Yeah.
token, but I didn't see his
Oh,
marker
his
in the.
mouse. Oh, I see
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I see him now.
Okay, I'm good. At least from my side. I don't know.
Okay, cool. All right. So, is there anything that you guys want to do personally in your downtime when you guys are flying? For the most part, the ship is able to be repaired as it's in flight. Not really any of the main mechanical or vital functionary portions of the ship were damaged, or at least not damaged to a degree where you have to land. There's one time you do have to land, and it's pretty mild, just to kind of shut things down, determined to go in and make some repairs. And it takes a couple of hours. It's uneventful. But you get back up into the sky and continue forth. That was your first time being terrestrial in about 3 days. You stopped for about 2 hours and then got back up. You've probably got about a half day's journey to where you're going. And at one point, Dyer says to Dro, I believe the final stop, as far as a ship is concerned, it's called Final Fletch, right? Kind of like a parking garage for airships, from what I've heard.
Pretty much, yeah. From there, if I remember correctly, last time I was there, I was in a hurry. Beyond Aurora's Rest is done on foot. Well, for the most part. At least land. And it is very, very cold. I think kind of shivers just a little bit thinking about it. I take it that is where you plan to part ways?
Indeed. I may even stay there for a little while. Seems a bit of a hub for anybody who wants to travel to Aurora's Rest. Has to come through there. And I know there are plenty who want to come from all over the world. If I want my new message to be spread quickly, that may be a good place to set up shop for a while.
I think that is honestly a really good starting spot. Like you said, there is all mix and match of individuals that pass through there, and that's just the very bottom of what actually ends up in Aurora's Rest. So I think you spreading it there will make its way beyond without you actually talking to them. If there's one thing, people love to talk in Aurora's Rest.
Good. I may see you before you leave, but I'm going to start there.
Did you ever happen to tell the rest of them?
Not yet.
I mean, we still have time. We're not there just yet.
No. But I will. I will make my goodbyes, however.
Is Tyrion?
Joe,
Oh, go ahead.
this is. Ro, it's been a pleasure. The things that I've seen you do are nothing less than worthy of your title. And although I imagine that you're not sure if you are worthy of being the champion from time to time, I see that conflict in you. You have done more than your fair share to earn it. Just thought you should know. Eventually, I'll make my way back to the college and send them my reports. They will know that the title is in good hands.
I appreciate that. But to be honest, I don't think I could do it without everybody else, so.
Damn right. Don't let it go to your head.
I mean, to be honest, you said you've seen me do some crazy stuff. I mean, the others have as well. I mean, Seamus jumped off a flying ship. Like,
Yes, he did.
I think
Which
Yaslin
was-
did too, just not as gracefully. Margot slept.
You
the whole
people
time.
need more respect for vehicles.
Yeah. I mean, in me and Seamus's defense, we didn't throw fireballs and we didn't stab it.
all of my fireballs were well placed away from the ship.
Hey, listen, in my defense, I was falling.
Both Margot and Yaslin sneeze for no reason at all, simultaneously. You know Zat Wakir Mel? Also, humble beginnings. All he wanted to do was make sure that his people were safe. He looked at what was coming and declared that he would handle it so others didn't have to. He used to say, according to the legends, that power was the ability to protect those who live differently from you.
Charles is gonna pull the sword out and look down at it as Dyer's saying this. If I recall, when I was at the college, I had stumbled upon what seemed to be an important meeting among the faculty, and one individual told me his story. Being the previous champion, I was told, if I remember correctly, he had a family. And he gave that up to be the champion. That, I think that's the part that confuses me. I understand the protecting those we care for, those that can't protect themselves, or like you said, protect those that live differently than I do. But giving up a family, why?
I think you may have misunderstandings about his motivations. What he did was not a choice between being the champion or being a father, or being a husband. It was the choice between losing them entirely, watching them die, or knowing that they were strong enough to live in his absence while he went and fought the things that would kill them.
I think the depending on who's still in here, Dro will glance up and just kind of quick look at everyone as Dyer says that.
Sure, and everybody's in the galley. I expect Dro and Dyer are just kind of tucked away on the one side. I haven't rolled a dice. Ooh, you know what? This is my first dice roll on my new Aurora's Rest dice.
Oh boy.
Margot, what are you doing? As y'all are in the helm, the ship is pretty much as good as it can be, and you guys are just kind of hanging out up there on the last leg.
I wanted to find Yaslin and Dro at some point. Separate or together, doesn't matter. But
Well, at the moment, unless she says otherwise, Yaslin, are you available?
Yeah, Yaslin's probably off kind of to herself actually, in very much contemplating if she needs to contact her family. Just how big of a hole has she dug into? But yeah, she's around. She's like keeping her distance but not going too far. She's probably, yeah.
just in the corner.
Yeah.
Jameis, if there's somewhere you would like to be at the moment, go ahead and move yourself as well.
I'd like to be at the helm. I would like some more practice flying the ship if we get a chance.
Cool. It's kind of what I thought. So cool, you're in that spot. Tierman's a terrible teacher, by the way. She barely knows what she's doing herself. I mean, she can explain all the details about how it works, but actually doing the action, she's a little below average. And she's also just not a great teacher in general. So you're having to read between the lines of what she's telling you a lot.
I think that Seamus is used to being a little bit self-taught, so every once in a while, I think that the ship probably would go into a dive or a climb or like S curves occasionally, just trying to get a feel for what the ship can do in case I need to make it do something, in a fight or something. I want to get used to it, not just cruising along.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check.
We thought we were making it to Aurora's Rest.
Not so
Oh,
good.
That moment when the only thing that's close to a rogue on your party doesn't have is bad at sleight of hands. It's a little rough. Give me 2 more. One for each day.
Gosh. The first day was nerve-wracking for all of us.
All of them are clinging to the
The
sides.
first day we're all just in our bed, just holding on for dear life.
We're just all praying.
Oh, wow,
my God,
he's
she got
learning.
so much better at the last day.
Here we go.
He can be taught.
All right. Yeah, that's about how it goes. It's rough the first day. Second day, not so bad. Third day, pretty smooth. By the third day, anytime you do a sudden shift, everybody just kind of shifts their weight appropriately. Everybody's got their sky legs at this point, and they are able to stay themselves steady as well. Okay, Marco.
I'm going to. Oh shoot, it's not what I wanted. Go up to Yaslin. Are you okay?
I think so. I'm not me.
think I can understand that, unfortunately.
Are you doing alright now?
For now, yes. Think so. I have control right now, but we don't know if that will change. Don't know what we'll face. I wanted to give you something. I know you have issues with the things you throw. You keep losing them.
Uh, I'm trying not to be offended by that statement, but like I can't help but feel like I'm a little offended.
Well, this will only work a couple times a day, but it could help you if you need to make distance.
Okay.
I'm gonna give her the wand of magic missiles. You can't use it when you're raging, but before, if you're far away from the enemy, you can use it. It will guarantee to hit.
That is good to know. I'm going to be honest with you, Margot. I will probably forget how to use it at any given point in time.
I will
and it will-
definitely yell at you if you need to use it. Don't you worry
Okay.
about that.
Okay, great. It may or may not just become a throwing stick.
That's probably not the best idea, but it is at your disposal.
Okay, well, I don't know how to use this, Margot. Are you sure
You just-
this isn't?
Yes, it's fine. You just point it at the enemy and think about hitting them, and it absolutely hits.
Okay.
I would recommend staying below 7 shots, because once you hit that 7th shot, you might destroy it. But at least 6 guaranteed, at least 7 guaranteed hits. You might just not have a wand after that.
All right, that shouldn't be complicated at all.
You just
Yeah,
point and think about hitting.
Okay. I mean, that's
You
easy
just-
enough for me to do.
You just ask the
You can-
barbarian to count, and she's going, ah, shit.
Yeah,
You can
she's
from over 100 feet away.
all Yaslin really heard from Margot was like 6 shots, maybe 7, but 7 might destroy the stick, but 7 guaranteed, but probably 6, and so she's like, I don't even know what counts as shots, but okay.
So if you're over 100 feet away, just start shooting it.
So anyways. Alright, well, thank you.
Figured it might help. It's also nice that it automatically hits, especially if we're going into a crowded city. It could be of use.
Are you trying to imply something about my aim?
No, it was more an implication of your anger.
Hmm.
I mean, last city we were in, you did throw somebody into the ocean.
Okay, but in my defense, they were really, really asking for it.
They were. But now you can guarantee to hit them no matter.
That's fair. Alright, but I don't know if I want to use a wand on them. That might can it like kill people?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean- It won't kill most people outright, but you never know.
okay, I'll take
Look
your
at the
word for
size
that.
of the weapon you hold. Do you think that won't kill people if you hit them?
I definitely know it will, but this is a stick.
It is quite dangerous. It can
Okay.
be quite dangerous.
Alright. If you say so, Margot.
You just might need it if we're a ways away.
Alright, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
I'll try to keep that in mind at least.
Perhaps we can get you a returning weapon when we're in the city. We have the money now.
I mean, that would be nice. I mean, I'm not sure if I really need one.
Would it be nice to throw javelins and have them come back to you every time?
Okay, that does sound nice. Okay, you're not wrong.
Options.
Okay.
Are you sure you're alright?
Margot, I really don't know. I'm trying to figure things out, but I don't really have any answers to anything.
I don't think any of us do right now.
At least we're all in the same boat in that aspect. On the bright side of things, no one really will know that there's maybe something off about us.
I mean, other than the three-eyed man and the woman with the rotting arm.
I mean, we could bandage your arm, couldn't we?
Yes, I have gloves for that.
I'll see. I feel like you have an entire wardrobe we don't know about.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I could help you, but you bear to not indulge in clothes.
Okay, well, they get in the way.
That
Although
is
I'm-
one view.
I'm not really a fan of the cold, so we'll see how this goes.
It's cold where I'm from, but I already feel like it's much colder here. Far colder than what I know. So, I think we're all in for a treat on that.
Yeah. What is it, like a day away now?
We're close, very close. Speaking of, where is Straw?
I'm not sure. Do you have something to talk to him about?
I have something to give him that I think could help in the city.
Hmm.
Well, you can always talk to any of us. I know you'd probably rather talk to Dro, but I'm here too.
I'm pretty aware that you're here too. And it's not a bad thing at all.
At least I'm not here. Not until you say it's okay again.
Ah,
As
It's
for you, I
probably-
don't think I will ever trust that, but
I mean, I don't blame you at all. I think it was sort of a defense mechanism just to keep snoopy, nosy people out. But
no, your dragon
now-
friend is very defensive. I'm well aware of that.
It's protective, okay? Not defensive. It's protective.
Same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
It's nice to have something protecting you. At least.
I mean, we all have each other's backs too.
Yes. Perhaps in the city, at this guild of knowledge we're going to, there is a way we could help with whatever's going on with you. If there are spells to enter dreams, perhaps there's one to enter souls.
I don't know if I really want to go in there.
It's not about what we want to do, it's about what we need to do, if you need the help. Only if you ask, of course. It's just an option.
Well, I'll keep that in mind, I guess. I'm probably going to try a couple things in the meantime.
Hmm.
I have some contacts,
Okay.
though I'd loathe to contact them.
Well, I will leave you to it then.
Alright.
Don't forget the wand. I will yell at you when it's needed.
I will do my best to remember the wand. I can't guarantee I will remember how to use it.
Okay, we shall see. And I'm gonna go find Ro. Imagine he's not hard to spot with the lizard man.
No, and Dyer sees you walking over, kind of gives you a little nod, pats Dro on the shoulder. I'll see you in a bit.
Sounds
Kind of
good.
walks off.
So, Dro, I was thinking in the city because of your circumstance, You probably want to keep a low profile, right?
That's the plan.
I have something from the organization that can help with that. If you would like to use it while we're in the city.
What do you mean?
She's gonna pull out a cloak. It helps you to blend in more. It's a cloak of elven kind. So it's advantage on stealth checks, disadvantage on any checks trying to perceive you. I just thought perhaps in the city, for all of us, it might be better if you're harder to spot.
That's fair. I honestly just planned to do what I did when I called that home, and similar to Seamus, stick to the shadows, but this might make things a little bit easier, especially since the new addition I have, and points up to his forehead.
Yes. Again, I'm sorry about pulling you into that. That's... At least Yazan's isn't visual. That's a little glaring.
That's the scary part.
Yes, that's... She's not herself right now, which is unsettling, to say the least. But you know her better than I.
Yeah, I've seen her deal with a lot, but this seems different. So, I don't know if it was a sense of nervousness, which is very foreign to her. But there's something.
From what I saw in her mind, if that thing was imbued with the same magic that imbued us and Sirius, then I am very concerned.
Jiro is going to take off the cloak he has and hand it to Margot. This... We made a pact. We'll protect each other.
All of us.
So, promise me you will wear this. As he hands you his cloak, which is a cloak of protection.
No. Of course.
Which I would imagine might be a little big on her.
I feel like it's probably drowning her. She comes up to your shoulder.
Is it an attuned item? I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think Elven kind is
Gently.
an attuned item.
I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
I don't know
Yeah,
where to
as you
find that on
attune
this.
to an item, it matches the size of your body
Once it's attuned?
once it's attuned. Yeah.
Okay, so Joe can enjoy the fact for like an hour it's large on her.
Yep.
I think if Margot puts it on there,
She will.
I think he just kind of laughs and grabs the top of the hood and kind of pulls it down over her face a little.
Alright. Alright, hey. That one's going to look like a crop top on you for an hour too, so you're not the only one getting laughs.
I mean, at least I can still move around in mine.
I'm elegant, I can figure it out.
Looks over her shoulder. Friendly Yaslin.
I'm a lady, I don't just run around for no reason.
But I appreciate it. And I'm also hoping taking advantage of the wide range of mixing pot of Aurora's Rest. Surprisingly, it is difficult to stick out, but for some reason, I did. So, any help I appreciate. And plus, our group is already a bunch of stickouts, so.
You're not wrong. As much as Seamus thinks he's sneaky, it's pretty glaring when there's a walking shadow. He's got a presence, you know? And then you and Yaslin are tall as shit, so that doesn't help anything.
I'm not that tall.
She's looking up as she like,
Don't you remember Nora? She was taller.
that... She was also much different. She would obviously attract attention.
Or the creatures that we got out of that prison, those bug creatures, those were tall.
Yes. Yeah, they were. They were giants.
Well, if it makes you feel better, and he looks over at Tierman, we're taller than her.
She's a gnome.
And?
I am.
Put that on your
Okay.
resume. I am taller than a gnome.
I was gonna say something so not Margot. Not the tallest of my siblings, but tall.
Every ounce my being to do an insight. Right.
Roll for it, and you can roll for it at advantage if you use your eye.
I'm just 16.
Margot, deception or persuasion?
She's lying.
Wait, she is, or you said she isn't?
She's not lying.
I was just gonna keep that comment to himself. Okay. Well, there is a lot of tall and short people in Aurora's Rest, and I think he'll stop for a second when he says short.
Mm-hmm.
So, you'll fit in is not the term to use, but you won't stick out as much as he tries to pull the hood down a little bit on the cloak Margot gave him.
There's a lot of white-haired humans in Aurora's Rest.
You've seen some around.
A lot like you? Drow? Half drow? Or not so much?
Immediately, there's not even hiding it. He shifts his mood. I don't
Sorry,
know.
I didn't mean to offend.
No, you're fine. It's elves, yes, absolutely. Drows, I have not seen. But it is a very large city, so they could be.
You did not grow up among your own people?
In a way, yes, but no. Not any kind of Pulls the hood back, points to the pointy ears. Not in this aspect. There's, like I mentioned, a lot of different individuals in Aurora's Rest, so saying I grew up with my people is broad. He'll just
It will be interesting for me then.
I think it'll be interesting for everybody for sure. Even though it seems stressful, at least to me, to be there, it is an enjoyable city. Many different, unique cultures to experience, honestly, and if you like food, you like drinking, if you like festivals, music, a lot of that brings in a mixing pot of people. It also has a ton of knowledge. Most individuals that are from there have, from my understanding, a well-defined education when they're not drunk. Maybe. Just kind of starts to recall moments.
Sounds a lot like the capital.
It's interesting. It has its ups, its downs. I would assume most big cities have. And I honestly don't think I have got to explore all of it. Even though we have a mission, I think, kind of look at everybody and recall how much stress they've been through. I think it might be beneficial to enjoy the city a little as well. One thing I would say is ensure nobody goes by themselves, because I feel like if any of us separate, we can cause so many problems. Glances at Yaslin. And then I think he shifts over to Seamus a little.
Yes, I did give her a wand of magic missiles, and if she figures out how to use it, she could be a terror.
You gave her an item to, huh? You know, she punches stuff.
She complains about you losing her javelins all the time, and this lets her shoot things from over 100 feet away.
So you gave her an item that is just a smaller stick that she's already been throwing.
I told her very clearly not to throw it, but to point and think about shooting, and it will shoot.
Do you realize how many times I've told her not to hit something? And guess what she did?
Yes, it's a risk, yes, but it could be useful if she figures it out.
If at least eventful. I'm actually curious to see.
Of her, as her throwing people into the ocean.
Okay, but come on, he deserved it.
And then anyone she shoots with a wand of magic missiles should deserve it as well. Trust her judgment in that. Her capacity to figure it out, maybe not so much, but her judgment in shooting someone, yes.
Okay, so note to self, keep a closer eye on Yaslin.
It'll be fine.
The concern.
Ro, go ahead and add a +1 to your babysitter counter, please.
The concern
No
I have
faith at all in
now
Yaslin.
is she has range, and
A lot
people.
of range.
There are people who like to talk, especially when they are drunk, and we are going to a city that is very high on taverns, festivals, drinking.
Mm.
This is gonna be fun. As he just stares at Yaslin and then back at Margot.
Sure, it'll be fine.
That's our famous last words till our plan goes to shit.
We don't plan anything. Who are you kidding?
We do, we just never follow it. There's a difference.
There is.
And to be fair, most of the plans
Seriously?
that we don't follow, and he points at Seamus, are his. So it's kind of an insult to him.
That's true. That's very true. I haven't followed a single plan he's ever given me. We have the ship because I disobeyed what he said.
I mean, to be fair, he's a good adapter. He adapts to when we don't follow his plans.
I think
Like,
he just puts up with our shit.
I mean, yeah.
He did get to sleep on a pile of gold last night, so he can't complain too much.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that would be super uncomfortable.
I don't understand it. Like, I enjoy luxury myself, but that is not luxury. That is just weird.
No, what's really weird is seeing him sleep actually on the ground.
That's true, but most people would say him not sleeping horizontal is weird.
Okay, well, okay. The first time I saw it, I thought it was a little weird, but then it just kind of grows on you.
You just kind of forget it's happening.
Also, there's not a lot of times we're in the same room as him as he's sleeping.
That's true. Good point. I think the only time we've been in the same room was the hospital, where you guys woke me up, and
Yeah, note to self, if we ever take Seamus to the hospital, check your bags. For items
you're
that
the
you...
one with the bag.
Yeah, he, and Dro just intentionally checks his bag just to be safe.
There's more blood in there. He spent these last 2 days filling up empty blood bags at the machine that Tyrant has.
At the slushing machine, just...
And just sneaking them into Dro's bag. Well, at least it's humane.
Seamus, roll a sleight of hand check if you want that to be canon.
Imagine.
Yeah, I'm debating if I would even bother with the other bags or just fill the bag.
He's all the bag of holding under there.
He's got a bag of holding that is just his juice box.
500 pounds of blood.
All he does is he's got like one big bendy straw that he sticks straight into his bag of holding and just goes to town.
If that thing
Nice
exploded,
try, nice.
the
Somebody turns
terrified
it inside
people
out.
around.
You could create a blood tidal wave.
Oh my god.
Instantaneous blood bomb. Let's go.
That would be a distraction for sure.
I don't know if it's my information to tell. And he'll make it obvious, but he'll glance over at Dyer. Before we get off here, you may want to have a conversation with him.
Mm-hmm. I can go find him now, unless you think he is needing time.
would wait just before we land. He seems to be busy, last I was talking with. Or he's just found one of the others to talk their arm off. So it could be one or the other.
Could be, yes. Or you don't think... Tyus, he was saying that he would sense it, that Sirius would sense it when he came out. Do you think he could sense us? Because of what we carry in us?
I don't know if it's yes or no, but I do know we have a ever-growing list of targets on our back. Honestly, me and Yaslin probably have some before we had even met you guys. We just brought those with us. So...
I mean, they may have brought down a corrupt branch of government trying to overthrow an entire empire down on us, so... To each its own.
And I could have a very dangerous family looking for me, and we are going back to where they live. So
let's enjoy the city while we can, but keep a low profile. No large grandiose announcements.
looks at
pronouncements,
everybody in the helm. I agree.
Be fine, I think.
I think, and we should probably talk with the others, but ensure that we're never by ourselves. And if we do
Absolutely.
split, have some sort of communication.
Absolutely.
And that means if you have to get into somebody's head, this is me giving you permission for mine. Only mine.
Yes. I think we will need to perhaps take some of that gold we acquired and purchase some means of communication first thing, because me jumping into others' heads is proving more dangerous as we go on.
You are finally
Don't look
listening.
at me like that. Don't look at me like that.
I agree.
I know.
We also have an abundant amount of unique items that we may want to get checked out. And he's going to fidget with the ring that he's wearing. These may be helpful. I don't know. But I know there are people 10 times, 100 times more talented in regards to magic than I am. And honestly, probably more than everybody standing in this room.
Can I see it real quick?
He'll glance down and take off the ring, which has the waves on it, and then hand it to Margot.
So I don't have identify or detect magic, but can I roll an Arcana check to just see like what type of magic it is? If it's like abjuration, enchantment, something like that.
Give me an Arcana check to just see if you kind of recognize it. What you're requesting would essentially be a like a detect magic spell.
Oh well, I don't see shit apparently.
No, and you're rolling.
We're not in
perfectly.
danger right now, so I'm rolling like shit.
That does seem to be the fundamental law of the universe, doesn't it?
It's the way you want it to bend, though.
So Tierman does need to use her spells to repair the ship. You know, her floating discs and her, you know, extra hands and like all of her abilities and spells are geared around fixing things. Excuse me. However, even things like at one point you guys see her creating something metal with like summoning caustic acid and treating metal so it'll behave in a certain way. But she does all of that. At one point you see her like climbing on the side of a wall, completely just the same way that Seamus does. You see her transferring objects using vortex warp, just like moving things from one place to another. She even uses levitation and heat metal. So like the whole time that you guys are working on things, she's casting her spells to work on and repair the Blushwing. Now, with that said, she does also have identify. So if you guys want her to identify your objects, she can. It'll just take longer for the ship to be repaired, and it'll take you longer to get to Aurora's Rest.
Is she ritual cast? Rather than using a spell slot?
It is a ritual. I forgot about that part. Yeah, she totally can. So it'll take her a good while, but yeah. Yeah, so she can identify all of your objects.
I think we should make use of that before we try to pay somebody who might try to swindle us out of what we have.
Yeah, and she could have already done that for you guys. So, give me what you got.
Where's
What do you
the
guys have
list?
left on your list?
Find the list.
So I think Seamus has got most of it.
What's
Seamus is the quartermaster.
Mm-hmm.
there is gray oil in a bottle.
Let me see here.
Oh yeah, all the things.
All the
potions.
Oh boy, gray oil in a bottle. Okay. Let me.
That was the one that dissolved when it, I think, was exposed to air or something.
Gotcha. That is an oil of etherealness.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
There's a purple poison.
Let's see, is that the one that I said there was like a kind of a centralized shape in the middle, no matter which way you turned it, it always like stayed there?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that something else?
Large. Yeah.
That is a potion of mind control. And it is the rare variety that lets you mind control a beast.
Oh, that could be useful.
Mhm.
A glass jar with paste.
Yogtham's ointment.
Huh?
One more time.
What?
Exactly. Let me put it in the chat.
Thank you.
It's a little healing ointment that also removes disease and poisons.
Which one was that, Seamus? That was the glass jar with the rope around it with some type of paste?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last one was that what looked to be empty potion.
Potion of invisibility.
Why did I not guess that?
The ring with two waves crashing into each other.
to see where that one come from. There we go. It is a ring of swimming. Gives you a 40-foot swim speed.
Oh, nice. Wasn't there a helm that Yaslin found? Was it a helm in the
Yeah, it
box?
was
the
like a helmet in.
Was it the one in the box?
Mm-hmm.
Helm
Mhm.
of Comprehend Languages.
Oh, yeah, we already talked about that because I almost took that
Mhm.
for my warlock.
Yeah.
Which is wild
There
that that is not an attunement item, but.
It is wild. And that it's at will.
Mm-hmm.
What a big
Uh,
brain.
yellow pellets, 6 of them in
Oh.
a tin.
Dust of Dryness.
There's a 2-fingered gold ring with script written on it.
Ring of Spell Turning.
Oh, I want
I literally thought I just grabbed 2. I thought it was just a large ring.
No.
What does that do? A ring of spell? Is that like
Wait. No, that's not right. Sorry.
It gives you advantage on saving throws against any spells that target only you, which is wild.
Sorry, that's not right. I said the wrong thing.
Is it ring of storing? Spell storing? Or turning?
Oh, yep, sorry, that is Ring of Spell Storing.
Okay.
Still would be sick for me to use, but not as cool as spell turning.
Hold on a second here. I got my wires crossed on this at some point. Yep, it does say it is Ring of Spell Storing. Excuse me.
I have a small crest that was from the nest. It might have like an item with a small crest on it. I took pretty bad notes on that one.
Is it the shield with the crest?
No, because that one has. Maybe that is it. Yeah, there's a shield, which I had in my inventory already, but I gave to Yasla.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, the shield with a wing design and a blue gem.
Yep, that is a wing crest shield.
Oh, is that the shield that Seamus got from the nest? Sorry, I was moving stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I
There-
decided to jump in the hole.
Yep. A colorful ceramic item.
Ah, that is an alchemy jug, orange variety.
You could use
Oh.
that for your blood.
Oh my god.
An alchemy jug full of blood.
Beer, honey, mayonnaise, oil, soy sauce, vinegar, fresh water, salt water, wine.
I just like
Is
that
what
it has
comes out of that
mayonnaise
one.
in it.
Yeah, that's so.
Have
low.
mayonnaise.
It's 2
I love how the-
gallons.
Mm-hmm.
2 gallons of mayo.
Otherwise, it was a placeholder and they just forgot to remove it.
In very certain situations, 2 gallons of mayonnaise can mimic the grease spell.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh, I don't want to know what situations these are.
Smooth surfaces.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Open the jug! The mayonnaise!
There was armor with wind symbol and runes on it.
Zephyr armor.
Hmm. We're able to sell some of this if we're not using it.
And then there was a bag of dust.
Oh,
Okay.
pixie dust. Four charges. Which 3 of you know from our Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign.
Interesting.
Flight.
Mm-hmm. Temporary flight. Yeah, I kind of want to, we're a little past a year into this campaign. You guys are at 10th level now. And I'm like, you know what? At this point, they have to start choosing which magic items to keep because they only have 3 attuned slots.
Funny thing, Yaslin doesn't have that many, so it's pretty easy for her. She's like, yeah, I'll just take it. That's cool.
Right. All right, what else do you guys got?
A bunch of books.
Mm-hmm. That you can't read.
I
Put the helm on.
No.
Yeah, could we have used the helm over the past few days to read them?
If you feel like it, yeah.
Yeah. Margo would do that. If no one else
Margo-
was gonna do it.
You did have those gauntlets. Wasn't
Yep.
it you who had?
No, Seamus
Gauntlets?
did. The ones they
Oh,
found in the
Seamus had
floorboard.
gauntlets.
Seamus said I found the 2-fingered ring.
Oh, okay. And then I had I don't know if it's magical, but I had a weird sword that had dice in it or something.
Mm-hmm.
From off a
And then-
skeleton.
Floorboard.
Gambler's Blade.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, and the gauntlets that were under the floorboard.
There we go.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Holy shit, I just read that.
Gauntlets
Oh
of
my-
Gauntlets of Ogre Power.
Gambler's Blade is fucking.
The only other thing I'm thinking of, and I don't think it's magical, Dro has that hammer that was used to barricade that door. In the
The
one
what?
room.
The hammer?
Yeah. I just have overly
Oh, no,
large hand hammer. I don't
Just a
think
hammer.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So, the shield that Seamus gave me, what was that called? Is it just
Winged
normal?
Crest
Wingcrest
shield.
shield. I posted the list in the notes section so that we can reference
That's awesome.
it.
Oh, I'm gonna be able to find it. I don't think I can.
Oh, that's cool.
Anything else you guys have that hasn't been identified yet?
Not that I have on my list. I think that's it.
Yeah, the potions were the only thing I had in my inventory for the most part.
A wooden egg.
What?
What?
Where'd
Where
you
is
find
that from?
I'll remember that.
Damon starts pulling random things out of his inventory. Is this magical? This magical?
It was in the same room as the painting of his family and the piano and stuff. There was a carved wooden egg.
Oh, that's just a piece of art, worth some amount of gold. I think you guys are missing a potion as well. There was also a potion of invulnerability.
I also had mathificated our platinum, gold, and gems, and it looked like we had 49,000 worth of gold combined. Do we want to keep that in like a group loot thing, or do we want to split that in the party, or how do we want to handle that?
I think we could do group. That's
Yeah, I'm fine with the group loot.
Yeah.
For the group loot, you can add an additional 295 gold from Margot's wallet.
Margot's daddy's money.
Or is that,
Where did
is that
this
from the
money come
treasure
from,
chest that we
Margot?
found in the room? Because we
That's
all
what I
split
had
that.
left from my starting gold.
Oh my god.
We picked up some gold
Wow.
somewhere else too, because I've got 13 platinum and 500 other gold on me.
Yeah, that was from the chest in the captain's room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we split the captain room chest.
So yeah, I have 13 platinum as well. We had it somewhere. Somebody did the mathification already. Oh, right above. We had 17,000 gold pieces, 1,500 platinum, and 17,000 worth of gem. It's above the gem breakdown on notes. Lily put it.
Who has all the gems?
I think they're in the back of holding.
I think they're in the bag too. Yeah, I think we're just kind of storing all of the stuff kind of in the same pot.
17 grand worth of gems is a lot of gems.
Mm-hmm. The dice likes you guys, and I was like, okay, cool. This just becomes a
Add.
different type of campaign now to manage and use wisely
yeah,
your wealth.
I think we should 100% like upgrade the ship in some way. Not sure what yet, but
We can probably sell a lot of these gems because they're not necessarily useful to us unless we can get some pretty cool tattoos with them. I would really only like say we should keep the diamonds for damn sure. But other than that,
we could probably use. This is totally not a Yaslin thing, but 100% gems can be used for bribes.
that too, they could be used for bribes. We might need to bribe somebody out of prison or something.
Yaslin does not have the capacity. Lily 100% would be like, listen, I've got a stash.
I'll let the sorcerers do the bribing.
Yeah, we got the riz.
We could potentially try to even sell them for more if we find the right buyer.
That's what I was thinking. Alright,
Because
that
gems, yeah, are very interesting.
was... so that Ring of Spellstorm, if no one's taken it, I'll take it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I don't need it. I can't.
You're down a spell slot, so I think it makes the most sense for you to have it anyways.
That's true, I am still down a spell slot.
You are. Yeah, my dragon gobbled it up.
Yes!
He's probably still really proud of himself for that too.
He's super proud of himself, although that automatic long rest was clutch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Man, we were getting our butts whooped. So
We got our butts kicked by
It bit
Partially
me
by-
right off the bat.
yeah, it literally was gonna drag you into the
It just got
lava.
much. And then it spat on us and almost killed us all.
Bro, the explosions. Oh my gosh.
42 points of damage in the first
Every
round.
single time it did one of those explosions, I tensed. Everything was tight. It's like, ugh. Who's going down this time?
This
Is
time.
the gambler's blade a greatsword or a longsword? I don't remember. It was on a Goliath, but I don't remember.
We said that because of the size of the creature, it was a large sword, so it's a great sword.
Okay. Ooh, I just have to bite the bullet and take this.
Oh,
Do it.
96 oh,
It
this is
is
cool.
it is cursed though, and
Maybe we don't want to give her a
Not that
cursed
I-
blade.
listen,
Please God, no.
listen. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, don't you even
Not-
worry about it.
Not that Yaslin knows anything that it's a cursed
Yeah.
blade.
So Yaslin's like, it's a fancy blade. Like, might as well give it a couple test swings. And then it's like, could I see the blade? She's like, no, absolutely not. Yeah, I think Yaslin will.
Margot, roll an Arcana check for me.
So I also take it Margot has the helm right now with a comprehend language.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I can hold on to it since I was reading books. 17.
Margot, you can tell that the Ring of Spell Storing doesn't have any space to store spells right now.
It was wonderful.
Okay.
And Margot,
So
you're the one with the... Are you using the Helm of Comprehend Languages?
To read the books throughout the days, yeah.
Okay. Give me a general perception check as well.
Perception. Hey.
Yeah, as you're flipping through the books, you notice the text on the ring.
What does
And
it
it
say?
reads, and you kind of have to like rotate to read the whole thing on 2 lines. It says, "My love, my Shantir, you are the strength of body and spirit that drives us into the horizon of stars. Do so with the knowledge that I am at your back, like the wind in your sails. I will guide you and protect you. You have my words, Tyus."
That's sweet. It's really sweet. She's definitely gonna take note of that if we ever see Shantir again. Stop, dude.
Who has the dust of dryness?
Up for grabs. Take it.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Give the water boy the dryness.
Hey, there's a part in here that could be very helpful that I'm reading.
I know.
Just FYI, Ring of Swimming is up for grabs too.
I don't have any more attunement slots, so
Does it require
I
attunement?
can.
if it doesn't, why are you giving it up?
Because I
I
can
don't know,
swim
Ring.
faster than that.
Oh,
It doesn't require.
No, it doesn't.
monks. I don't intend on ever getting in the water, so.
Yeah,
it's up for
nobody
grabs.
normally does.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I can switch my climb speed and my swim speed
I-
on a long rest.
I have 55 feet of swim speed.
Jeez.
Champion of water.
Technically have 40 feet of swim on occasion.
On occasion. What's this Zephyr armor? I haven't looked it up yet. This is turning into a loot session.
I know.
There's no way it was not going to be that after what I gave you guys.
What type of armor? Because there's leather
Oh,
padded.
Zephyr
light.
armor.
I know, but there's different versions. There's leather
It's
padded.
light. Oh,
Oh, it's light.
light armor.
This one. No, it's studded.
Hmm.
Can you wear armor and still cast your
No.
spells?
So you have Dex.
Yeah.
You have Dex advantage for acrobatics, and
But I think that'd be better for
advantage.
someone else.
an advantage on Dex saving throws, and then you can cast Wind Wall once
Such a shit.
once a day.
Hmm.
And
I
with
think
all
I'd
this
probably
loot that
go
I've
for,
given
like-
you guys, it just means I get to throw bigger, nastier things at you now and not feel bad about it.
Right?
Because I have glamour armor on, so I don't need different armor. But if somebody thinks they could get use out of this,
I can't.
Yeah, so there's two of us that have an armor defense, so
so Seamus, do you have a use for Zephyr armor?
With studded leather too, so it'd be what, a plus whatever plus 2 attacks.
Yeah, I could take it. It would take up my last slot.
Is it attunement too? Oh yeah, wow.
that one,
Jeez.
yeah.
This. Who's taking the gambler's blade? Because that just seems like a bad idea.
It would be
Which
me.
is part of why it's called gamblers.
Listen, it's a great sword. Yasmin's gotta swing it like a couple times and then realize that she can't let go of it and probably think it's fine. She likes the blade anyways.
Who's taking the potions? There was 4 of them, right?
There's 4. Yeah, it's the invulnerability, etherealness, mind control. 5. Well, I mean the ointment's not really a potion,
Oh yeah, the ointment. I forgot about that.
and then the potion of invisibility. So I can see people for 1 hour a day if they go ethereal or invisible. I think that maybe Yaslin should hold on to the potion of invulnerability.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think Dro, because the only people I was thinking like invisibility, I was thinking was Seamus and Dro to add to their stealth, but Seamus already has invisibility, so if Dro keeps...
Invisibility, yeah, I could see Dro. Or
Yeah.
etherealness, because ethereal, you'd enter the ethereal plane. Both of them can be very useful. But I think invulnerability for Yaslin for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, you can take that. Take them both. True.
It could be useful if you have to put down my tree thing
Wow!
to become invulnerable for a while.
That makes me feel really great.
Hey, you
'Cause
agreed to it.
totally- I
You
know
did.
I agreed to it. I did, and it would be in Yaslin's name. Listen,
But it's only resistance to all damage, which you already have while you're raging, except for psychic,
I
right?
I only have resistance. No, that's bear totem. I'm a beast barbarian.
Oh, okay.
I only have.
So then
the
it could
slash
still be very
ability.
good for you
Yeah.
if needed. Yeah, I think you should have that
Okay.
one. I think Dro maybe for mind. Is your creature considered a beast, Yaslin? Would we know that?
It's not a beast.
Damn. Okay.
Monstrosity.
It's a monstrosity.
Yeah, I thought it
That's
could be
about right.
very
You
useful.
turned into a monster.
Well, if the mind control potion worked, it could be very useful with bringing you back under control if you lost control, but it's not a beast, so it doesn't help us.
Yeah.
I think anybody could hold on to that one.
Some aspects of her are a beast, but there is also a couple aspects in there that are not.
Do we just want to leave that in the bag of holding then?
Yeah, we could do that.
What about the ointment? I don't even know what this does, honestly. I didn't read it.
I know it removes like poison
Receive
and diseases.
hit points, cease to be poisoned, and cure any disease.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like one that would be used in a pinch.
Yeah. I think that's probably one we could have in the bag of holding and use it. Like, pull it out when needed, because, like, the poisoned or any disease isn't necessarily, like, a pinch. But it could be very useful, because none of us have cure disease or cure poison.
Who's taking the shield?
I
Can't.
cannot use it.
Either.
Me neither.
Not with what I have.
We might
Yeah, I
just
can't
sell
either.
that.
I mean, Yaslin, if you're using like two-handed weapons, that's true, but
Yeah,
you
I mean, I
can
could
still
use
do it and use unarmored defense.
Yeah, I can. It's just both of my weapons
Or two-handed.
handed. I believe.
I mean, we can sell it.
You
Oh
could
my
also.
gosh, it's just not gonna let me look at. Okay.
I mean, if you have your tail or something too, if your hands are free.
I mean, that's true. Yeah,
Take the
yeah,
shield.
because right now Yaslin's in the condition to summon her tail. I mean, that is true. In the future, maybe. I don't.
We could just sell it if we don't want to use it.
I can't find it when I'm looking it up, and I don't know where it is.
Wing crest shield.
If you're looking on D&D Beyond or something, it's partnered content, so you have to have that selected.
Is it the golden wing crest shield? No.
Looks like it's from the Underwood campaign setting.
Yeah.
That it is.
You get a +1 to your AC, and you can cast Gust of Wind once. And this saves 15.
I mean, that would have plus a shield would bring her to 20 AC, so that's not
wild.
that's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
Give our tank more AC.
Mm-hmm.
Give the tank more AC. Like when she finally can figure out her rage shit again, it might be helpful. Out of character.
Yeah. She might need it because those death saves are going to be rough.
Thanks for looking at that. I bet you realize I decided to take the gamble of a +3 for a -3 to my death.
No, I saw that. What about these gauntlets? I haven't looked them up yet.
Oh,
They give
Ogre
you
strength,
19
19
strength.
strength.
yeah, you
It's
could
the
be-
strength version of Headband of Intellect.
You could be strong as Yaslin.
I have a -1 strength right now.
Same.
They are attunement, but I mean.
But they are attunement and I'm out of attunement slots. So.
I mean, if you really want to, if you really want to be like, I'm as strong as you, and then like just in the fine print, it costs me an attunement slot.
That is not a dream of Margot's I intend on fulfilling at the cost of an attunement slot.
You guys had a fighter join your group. You could just like hand him a whole set of gear.
Yeah, here's armor, here's a shield, here's gloves, let's go.
Let's go.
What about the pixie dust?
I don't know what it does and I'm scared by your
It's
guys'
so
reaction.
fun.
Oh,
It's fly, right? It's just fly?
It's Peter Pan.
Yes. Yeah. You get like I think 30 feet of fly speed, and you can hover for a minute. And if you're airborne and it ends, you just fall to the ground safely.
Oh, that's nice. That could be one we keep in the bag of holding and pull it out when needed.
All right. Oh, I didn't. You said how it's 4 charges, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I think that's everything, ain't it?
Yeah? Well, the alchemy jug. He's taking the alchemy
Oh
jug.
yeah. That's the most.
If it helps, I would, but I don't need 2 gallons of mayo.
Margot will take it for wine.
Of course. A gallon of wine.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think
I'll
maybe
be
it
right
would
back,
be a
guys.
good thing to. Alright, I think it might be a good thing to just leave on the ship and we can, like,
All I'm
come
saying,
back and kick back and relax.
to go with
We have the
Margot's,
machine on the ship, though.
Oh,
to go
that's
with
true.
Margot's
I
idea,
thought it
though,
would be nice.
we go into a tavern, we don't have to buy drinks.
Mm-hmm.
That
See?
is true.
She's
Alright,
thinking
well,
ahead.
go for it.
Just
Yeah,
hand it to the
I'll add
barkeep.
my inventory.
Oh, did I? Oh, I did.
I think that's it.
Seeing all these gems in the bag of holding is wild.
You just open it and. Oh!
There's so much.
Shiny.
We have 2 different diamonds, too.
Yeah, we have the 500 and the, 1,000.
Wait,
So,
oh, it is 500.
yeah, I think it's worth getting a jeweler to cut those down to 300 increments. Just in, like... I have a feeling this group will need Revivify eventually.
I have no idea what you're talking
That
about.
was-
And which one of us is gonna revivify? Where's our plan?
I'm hoping our paladin gets to a high enough level before we get to that point.
You know, we had a cleric, okay?
We had one.
Someone
and
decide
then
to-
it got converted.
Also had 2 clerics join and leave the party.
Mhm.
We just we're just one of those like lost causes where they're like, man, is it even worth it?
Well, Dro also has 3 potions of healing and 2 greater healing potions.
I have 1 potion of healing left.
So we've got those. But
Mhm.
and then tiny healing spells from Paladin.
I can just wither and bloom people for like days, but that's also spell slots.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Days.
And it does consume hit dice.
And
So-
it also does consume your hit dice, so there's that as well.
Okay, but Wither and Bloom is like. Okay, well.
It's the only healing I have.
I have the smallest healing you can get, I feel like.
It's like, I think the only ranged healing we have in the group is Wither and Bloom, and then Dro's, 10 lay on hands is our only close healing.
And cure wounds. I can cure wounds.
Oh, and cure wounds? Okay.
I just have a whole 3 spell slots to
Oh.
use.
Maybe it's a good idea for us to invest in
Lots of healing potions,
Yeah.
yeah.
And spread them out.
Amulets of health or parapets of health, if we can find any, those would be really good. I would give up an attunement slot for one of those.
It's really nice. I'm gonna tell you right now. The Paraff of Wound Closure.
Mhm.
God, it's gonna be so hard to choose what to unattune.
Although my AC has gone up. It didn't go up here though. Why is it not?
Yeah,
None of my items.
Nora's periaptive wound closure turned out to be kind of crazy though.
It's like
And
Super helpful.
you guys still don't even know how that happened or what worked there. So the only other thing is, Margot, you said you were going through the books
Yes,
that you
mhm.
found. How many books did you guys bring?
I
I thought you
have
brought all of them.
I have pirate book 1, 2, 3, journal, and book that Yaslin found.
Yeah, the Yaslin
Okay.
book was the one in the meeting thing. It looked like.
Yeah, the main room.
Sure. So
I
you guys are busy with the
prioritize the
ship.
journal and the book, the Yaslin book.
The journal, okay. The journal is Shantier's essentially diary.
Those
Um,
are always juicy.
and it doesn't look like she uses it very often.
Oh, less
Um,
juicy.
it's very sporadic entries, but the part that you do easily like find that's like worthwhile is the very last entry, and it says, and you know, Shantier's like, she's a tough woman. She's got like a beautiful but strong kind of handwriting. And then the last entry is much worse. Like somebody who does not practice writing hardly at all. And it says, never been much of a writer. Didn't seem fun. But now it's the only entertainment I have. Don't know why this pen works underwater, or why the water doesn't feel wet on things. It was 3 days last when the monsters attacked. They were smaller than us, most are. But they were fast and strong. They could suck away our life from afar. Didn't matter none how tough our bodies were. It shivers my hands now, even as I think about it. I saw Boro die this way. His body started to fall to the deck, but then his legs stepped out and caught his fall. His eyes were milk pearls, and he came for me. So I ran. Never thought I was a coward until that moment. Shut myself in here and nailed the door shut. Lots of weird happening after that. I don't even know how the fight ended. But something shot out, struck me. It was in the air, or the water. My teeth and nails ache something fierce, and I can smell the blood in the water like it's ready for me to take it. I'm scaring myself, and I don't want to be like this. So I'm going out. Maybe I'll see the real Boro after I'm gone. Guess my lucky streak finally ran out.
I share all of that with Seamus. I don't know if this is something you know of.
Ever heard of a creature that can drain your life from a distance?
You seem to think that there was vampiric essence on the ship. It's not so, based on the description.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, but no, I'm not so sure.
Perhaps it's the creatures Sirius can make. Maybe he made them himself.
Sounds like we're gonna find out one way or the other.
Maybe your gilded knowledge can answer those questions for us, but I think if perhaps Sirius can do these things, it's good to at least know what to look out for. Or if maybe these things will continue to hunt whatever that powder was, and we have it now in us. Most of us, it's good to still know what we're looking out for.
Yeah, we've definitely got a lot of questions for Barco when we get to the guild.
Yes. We have a laundry list of questions. Covering broad many topics.
Looking forward to what's ahead of us at Aurora's Rest, though.
I'm a little concerned for what we might face a throw there. I don't know how the police force works or how exactly all that is done in that city, but keeping a head down would be best for us all, I think. Not making a big target of ourselves. Not, I don't know, making grand business propositions to various entities. Definitely not using the champion of water as a selling point for any business propositions.
Understood. To a point, that is, of course.
There it is.
I think it's still would behoove us to find an arms dealer. But if we can keep it underground, that'd be alright with me.
Why do we need an arms dealer? Like a legal arms dealer you're talking, right? Or are you talking an illegal arms dealer?
Above the boiler under, but there's a war coming. And you can't fight a war without weapons.
This is true.
The people of Ripple won't be able to stand up if we can't arm them.
We would need to consider what type of weapons we do purchase. Do you still have that broken cannon that Nora, whatever her name was shooting? Perhaps we can order a bunch because simple weapons won't actually help, but something like that could probably turn the tide. If you arm a full force with that against fire.
Her pepper box was quite unique, but yeah, if we can find someone, I'd be all in.
With that water thing that you guys kept shooting in the beginning.
The cannon.
That was a one of a kind.
If it was made once, why cannot it be replicated?
I don't think the maker made it through the fight.
Do we still have it? Do you have it? The draw?
I think Leo had it. Leo or Nora.
Yeah.
There's
We
no
could
way
have
now
reverse
Laika held
engineered
it.
I don't have it. I think you're right. I think Leo has it. I
Also,
think he kept it.
that thing shot harpoons with tethers on it. So if we had a ton of people shooting, there'd be tethers everywhere. I kind of want to see that now.
That'll be kind of fun.
Dodge
Sounds
the
like we've
wire.
got some shopping to do anyhow in Aurora.
Yes. Lots of shopping.
But I get the feeling that you're probably pretty good at that.
I have had my practice in it, yes.
That's a
Not as much
proficiency
as
of
you might
yours.
think, but I do indulge in luxury.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Speaking of, do you think the group would feel about sending a little bit of our money back to the spa, to the cafe? Make sure that they're doing okay there too.
Define a little.
I think it's open for discussion.
Oh boy.
I do think that should be a group discussion collectively, rather than targeting each one of us on our own. You can't ask mom and dad separate.
Fair enough.
Besides, they're so close to the coming war, don't you think they would better benefit from defenses than gold?
Both are probably worthy.
Both would be worthy, but that is not the world we live in. We do not have unlimited supply.
Let's talk to the group and find out if they have any interest in their business or not.
Yeah, I think Yaslan is in the corner over there, and I don't know where Dro went. Yaslan! I'm not yelling at you to use the wand, I'm yelling at you to come here.
Where? Okay.
Seamus
Guys?
ducks as the wand
Maybe
goes
on the
flying
first
over his head.
Be a point.
Okay.
Dro is off
Alright.
on his own.
What do you think about supporting our businesses with a little bit of this gold that we've got?
How much is a little bit?
There it is.
Are we talking like 50 gold here? Or are we talking half of it? What's the range here?
Let's think of the ground.
Marco's
Perhaps we should make the purchases that are required of us first in the city, and then whatever is left over can be beneficial to your the business cause.
How?
We can't help anyone if we're dead, and we could survive longer with the appropriate equipment and supplies.
I'm not the most tactically intelligent person. Even though But how would this money benefit them? Just so I can understand what this money is actually going to be used for. Because I don't know. We're sending them money, but what are they going to do with it?
I assume invest it in their businesses. They have an interest to continue growing their business, and we have a vested interest in them staying in business and doing well.
Mhm.
Someday I hope to return to that spa, and I hope that it's doing well when we get there. Same for that cafe. The poor Bilesmeyer girl lost her family. It's the least we can do to continue to help the business grow. Plus our shipping business. How are we going to get the arms up and down the mountain? I'm not carrying them.
So, is each business getting 1,000, or that's the assumption, is 1,000 for each of them?
That was my thinking.
I think we focus on the necessities of purchase first, and then we
Marika, you don't look too thrilled about donating money.
It's not a donation. You've got to spend money to make money. And if we
That's-
want any
yes,
return from our
But
businesses,
how much money are we going to gain from spending this money?
Yes,
That's
what's
up
the
to
return on
DM.
investment?
I mean,
going to
that's up to the capital systems in play. I mean,
Also, are we getting any income from these people? I'm just curious because I've never dipped my toes, but now I'm curious.
2 gold a day from the cafe, and I don't know what's from the shipping business and
That's 2 gold each, or 2 gold for the group?
each.
Is that 2 gold for you or 2 gold for me?
Each of us.
Each of us get 2 gold a day?
Per day right now. Just from the cafe. I don't know what the shipping business
Not so
and
bad.
spa bring in as well.
That would take a little over 4 months to recoup 1,000 gold.
Okay, well, I'm sure we're all going to live longer than 4 months. Well, I would hope. Okay, well, I mean,
Yes, you hear a
Uh.
chuckle from your blade.
Yes, kinda pauses for a second. assuming we don't do anything drastically dumb. Assuming I don't do anything drastically dumb. But, I mean, how hard is it for a month? Considering the circumstances we are finding ourselves in lately, I will admit it is kind of up in the air, but...
Oh shit, I just remembered what I rolled a couple weeks ago. Yeah, 4 months might be a little complicated for me. I don't know how long I'll be on this continent.
What do you mean? Are you just going to jump ship on us? Is
Oh
that
no,
what's
I think we
happening
will be
here?
able to take care of our business before I get called back.
Why are you getting called back?
Because I still serve the Empire.
I thought you didn't like the Empire.
I don't like the Otenki organization, which seeks to tear down the Empire. That's what I fight against.
Is that not the same thing?
No. No. It is a branch of the Empire, yes, but it's the corrupted branch. I'm realizing now I'm probably a living embodiment of what I fight. But
Like, isn't you fighting a branch of the Empire make you an enemy of the Empire? Just...
okay, technically yes. Because I don't have any hard evidence to support my claims right now. But someone has to do it.
Okay. Well, I mean... I'm not saying don't. I'm just wondering why you have to go back if you don't really seem... Do you want to go back?
Isn't the Empire aligned with our fight? Anyways, you came to us
It is,
in the
yes.
battle against the Fire Army.
Mm-hmm. There was suggestions that I was intended to die in that battle, probably because they thought I would face it alone and not with you. But they are aligned in this fight. We may be able to get reinforcements from them. I'm not so sure on that.
Do they know you're still alive?
They do. We have ways of keeping tabs on their operatives.
Okay.
Let's take it.
Besides, we
Maybe
might have to go back early to re-tether throw a neck also. And then you would get to meet my people.
Sounds
Let's take it.
delightful.
let's take it one step at a time, I think.
Is it...
First up, we've got to get Dro into and out of Aurora's Rest here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have to get information on the growing list of questions we have. We should probably write them all down at some point.
Let's start there then.
Not a bad idea. We should ask. There's so many, I don't know where to start.
Do we want to start with you? Or you? Or me? Or what was our original... I'm sorry, I'm obvious.
The thing was the war
My
against fire,
brain
but
is
now
a
we have
little-
corrupting magic, we have trees growing inside us. There's a lot that has happened in a
My
very short
brain is a
time.
little frazzled right now. What was our original goal of going Guild of Knowledge?
To find out what we can do to fight the Fire Salamander. And then I think
We
it was...
kill it?
But didn't we kill it?
You mean the fire djinn?
I think it was our understanding that it has a chance of coming back.
I thought that was the djinn, the one that was leading the assault.
It was there because of the Jinn. So or anything worse could come back because of him.
So we're just trying to figure out what
Point
this...
in case you were there, but the records keepers for the college were thorough. Enfax didn't control the salamander, but it wanted to.
Oh,
So
so
And
perhaps we could control it.
you
Is it a
killed
beast?
it.
I don't think it's a beast.
I don't think it's a
probably
beast either.
atrocity too. Or an element.
And Trios is the one that died, at least temporarily.
So are we trying to get information on why he wanted the lizard? If the lizard can come back, where the lizard came from?
I think we're just looking for information on how to defeat the army.
Okay, yeah, that okay.
So best as we knew, that giant graft that you closed, that's where the salamander came from. And it was, as far as we can tell, a random act of chance that a fire graft opened in the realm of water and upset the balance and gave Enfax a chance to try to muck with the balance there. Tried to gain another powerful creature under his command. He tried to do the same with the giant. And you stopped him on both accounts. But I believe he got away.
So perhaps we ask if there is a way to locate grafts?
That was what I was
Or-
thinking.
A way to locate grafts? Or perhaps... I don't know the science behind it, but if they emit a certain energy when they're being formed, perhaps we could predict where they will appear. That may be far higher than we are capable of.
If you're looking for an understanding of spatial magic, we're on our way to the best place in the world for it. Aurora's Rest was founded on the research of space and time magic. At least that's what I hear.
So maybe.
And to be clear, the cardinal elements are just as powerless to control grafts as we are. But every once in a while, something could happen that tips things in their favor, and they want to reap the rewards of whatever comes out.
Yeah. But I mean, if we could find the graphs or have some way of locating them before they do. At least the ones that cause as much chaos as that did.
It's fair.
If we could find a device or a way, like a anti-magic bomb or something that can quickly close it. I managed to close it, but it was just barely, and it was pure luck, to be honest. If we could find somebody to create a device that rapidly closes grafts. I don't know if that's possible.
I'm also hoping to get some information about the other library that we visited.
Which one? Sorry, libraries aren't
Gliders.
very interesting to me.
Glider's library.
Oh!
Probably ask about my corrupted world tree.
I think that's a worthy question as well.
I think we should maybe go around our corruption a little bit carefully, just so we don't throw people into the loop of these are people who are dangerous and need to be eliminated sort of deal.
True, but
Because as
we
much as
still
I
need the information.
as much as I would like to maybe have outsiders help, I would also like to not alarm more people than we have to of unknown threats.
But if we are talking to experts, it is worth having at least that discussion.
Can we trust these experts?
I do.
That's good enough for me. I have nothing else to base on.
It's one of the two people I trust before I met you all.
And I mean, the world tree in me was before the corruption magic. And also, like you said, if we tell them about the corruption magic, they may not be able to find it without extremely powerful means, which they may have at their disposal, they may not.
I
But
mean, if
telling
we're
them might
talking about
reduce it.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. I think that we will have to make a judgment call when we meet these people, but she must trust them. So that is a good enough start.
Maybe it's just me that is wary of spreading secrets that might not need to be spread.
I think you're wise to not want to ask a lot of people, and we're not. We're gonna ask one.
Alright, well.
I agree. I don't necessarily want to go around telling people what's going on with me. But I also can't ignore it. And we need some information. Perhaps they have a path to a cure. Because if we don't find a cure, you know what you have to do, yes?
And well, as I am now, I don't know if I could do that without collateral damage.
Not to throw one more wrench into the works here.
Huh? Please.
But just to clarify, the threat of the war with fire is imminent because Entrios is dead. Each of the cardinal elements has a hierarchy. And he sacrificed what was left of him in a bit of a loophole to summon the Kirin to protect the new champion and thwart his efforts of displacing the balance of power worse than it would be without him, but nonetheless, the balance is skewed because he is gone. And fire will not take that opportunity without executing on it. They will find their time.
So, what I'm understanding, maybe fight a war or stop a war, prevent and restore balance. It's kind of our two big things on the plate right now.
Mhm.
If
Right.
what you say about a hierarchy existing, is there a way that we could manipulate the scales and maybe push somebody into the position that has just been lost?
You're talking essentially about the fundamental roles of nature.
Yes.
How much do you know about the cardinal elements so far?
It takes a moment. She's like, there's like fire, earth, air, and water.
They helped form Aeon.
They
right?
did. Their kings, the kings who sit at the top of each hierarchy, were some of the first, at least this is the creation myth, were some of the first brought to Aeon, and they shaped the world. And Yaslin, you're only half correct. And I mean that literally.
Okay. Well,
You're missing the other half.
which is
Shadow, Bright, Beast, and Magic are the other 4 kingdoms.
there's 8.
8 cardinal elements, yes.
And the jinn who died was one of the kings, or like a prince in this hierarchy?
Not quite that high up, actually.
What?
Why would it not be hard for them to replace it then?
You're talking about what is essentially... The kings are essentially gods.
But there's stuff that's higher
Yeah.
than that?
No. The kings are the highest. Entrios, Enfax, and Dolma. And Spala. They are known as stewards. They're essentially the 3rd tier down. The Kirin, as Kalor, is a hand, second hand to the king.
Oh.
The stewards reside below the hands.
So,
So you're talking about essentially a god down to a demigod, down to a super being.
but the
Not
gods
that
would
easy
let their
to
peoples.
replace.
The gods would let their kind fight over the loss of their steward? Without stepping in? They did not step in that fight.
I mean,
Of course they did. All 4 stewards were of fire, earth, air, and water were present at one time. It's unprecedented. Not since the days of creation.
Yes, but the water one still died. Right?
Correct. We self-sacrifice.
and
And water is preparing for war.
well, I think
Just
fire's
as-
preparing.
But water's position is weaker because they are missing Entrios. That's the threat that we face. And it's the first time since the creation of Aeon that I'm aware of where one of the top 3 have been displaced. And the true threat is if it is the first of many dominoes that creates further imbalance of power. If water falls, fire reigns a little more. And either others have to pile up to defeat fire afterwards, in which they will weaken themselves and eliminate another domino. And it cascades on until only one element reigns supreme on the planet.
How do we restore balance if we cannot replace that missing piece, and eliminating the others of equal value would only cause more destruction? There's
Eliminating the others is one of the options. Supplementing water's ability to push back for long enough to create a stalemate once again is part of it.
Is that not just pushing our problems off on the next generations when that stalemate falls?
The stalemate was always going to fall someday.
Yeah.
We just happen to be the unlucky generation in which it did for the first time.
Then we do what needs to be done.
And what's that?
We talk to these people at the Guild of Knowledge. And we decide on a course. Right now, I think it's eliminating the other stewards to create balance. Unless we can find a way to replace the missing steward.
What if we could raise up our champion?
How...
Steward of the kings? I don't think
How-
that's something he would want.
And how much time would that take us? Like, I'm not saying it's not impossible, but from the vibes I'm getting, we don't have
We
forever.
don't have long.
Yeah, we are running out of time.
As much time as it takes to prepare an army. My guess would be four or 5 months more at most.
Well, Margot doesn't have that amount of time from what I'm getting from
would
her,
be
so...
Here until the mission is complete. I can
Really?
stay. Yes.
Because you made it sound like you had to jump ship in a couple months.
Yeah, when the mission's complete.
Okay. I still think we should figure out if we can find a way to track those graphs. The
Mhm.
problematic ones, at least.
Not a bad idea.
And I think finding if it's a possibility to create like those anti-magic bombs or something that can destroy the graphs rapidly, that would greatly improve our chances. I don't know if that's possible.
I
I feel
mean,
like if it were, those would be in much higher availability.
it sounds like something that's either super magically advanced or super technology advanced.
Yes. Perhaps there's someone in this city that studies spatial and time magic who is capable of both.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Do you think we're that lucky?
I don't think we have. Well, I think we surprisingly have luck on our side more than we
I would
think.
think we actually are pretty lucky, considering all the stuff we've gone
Considering what we go through, yeah.
through.
We should also ask if Dura wants. This may be the place to try and figure out if there's a way to track and summon Echo. We can't help him get him back without knowing how to call him forward or find out
But-
where he is.
But your people might have an idea. Is
We
that
can
what you
tether,
said?
but yes, we can tether, but we need to know where the soul is first, and we need to find a way to summon it willingly.
I'm making a note this whole time this conversation's happening. Morgan, let me know if I can do this. Jero would want to spend the time trying to listen in, but trying to hide the tune to with that cloak.
You have advantage.
Oh yeah. By the time you guys are done with these conversations and you get to where you're going, you're both attuned to your new cloaks.
So Jero's not visible right now.
As she's talking about Echo.
Oh, he's been listening the whole time.
I still have Echo's sword, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Should add that to my inventory. Even though I can't do jack shit with a short sword.
I mean, if you're down to spar,
Would love to learn how to use this weapon, or my magic has been relatively sufficient most of my life. I have some weapons training, and as nice as it would be to learn how to use different weapons, I don't feel right. I don't feel it's like it's my place to wield this weapon. I am its keeper for now, not its owner.
okay,
Until Dro asks for it back.
that's fair.
But it was Echo's blade, and I don't know. I know I made the promise that we could help tether him to Echo again, but it could be difficult. It is impossible if we can't find a way to figure out where the hell he is, how to call his soul back.
Maybe a Guild of Knowledge question. How to locate missing souls.
It could be, but I think we will leave that one to Draw to ask if he so chooses. I don't think that's our place.
That's fair.
And if you have any questions,
I do, but I might at some point ask my people before I go to other people's.
that's fair.
How close are we to this place?
As you guys have been having this conversation, actually, before I go there, several different subjects are trying to pour through my mind at the same time.
Oh no.
As you guys are having this conversation, the landscape outside begins to fade. You kind of hug the coast for a long time, and then eventually it begins to kind of curve upwards, and you come inland as you're heading forward. And you begin to see the elevation climb mountains across a massive peninsula, just utterly covered in trees. Snow-capped scenery begins to fold in, and the kind of rocky brown crags that you were at when you were at the Harpy Nest begin to fade away. and you see very mountainous regions that look difficult to traverse. And up ahead, kind of on the tip of the horizon, you can see a location that looks like buzzing, like almost like flies around a piece of rotted meat. But as you get closer, it's an established city, a skyport, as a plethora of variety of ships. And you even begin to see them sailing by you. You're passing some that are a little bit larger and slow, some that are faster and nimble begin to pass you. And the sky becomes very busy over this forest. And ships come in from the sea. As you begin to fall in, and eventually you come upon a large, small for a city, large for a port. You see a series of bridges and cables, large towers that house and hold house flying vehicles. Wide, flat, ovular shaped buildings that open up their sky or their dome to let ships descend in. And you guys come upon Final Fletch Port.
It's
Now,
That? No.
it's beautiful.
Now, with that, little bit of a rewind before we land here, and let's go ahead and take our break here in a moment, because we totally haven't done that yet. And then when we come back, we'll dive into if there's anything that you wanted to do in your personal downtime in the 3 days that you were traveling. And then after that, we'll step into port. Okay, so like I said before the break, what, if anything, would each of you have done on your downtime before we start rolling forward? Ooh, new dice roll. Start with Dro.
Dro. This is among a few days, right? He would have more than likely, as he's wandering the ship, look for spare pieces of wood that Tierman may have leaving around or whatnot, and he would have, similar to what he had already done previously, and start to carve a new totem piece with each of the group, with the addition at the top of it a lizard head with a top hat, and on the opposite side a very spiky haired gnome. But he would ensure that Tierman and Dyer do not see it right now. He would work on
Okay.
making 2 of them.
Gotcha. Especially with your experience of doing it last time, or the previous collection, you can do so on the last, in your downtime in a couple of days. Go ahead and just give me a couple of sleight of hand checks.
Guidance.
Sure. $21? All right.
Another one or no? You want another one?
Oh, I didn't realize that was a question. Yes, please. They're essentially identical. There's plenty of things for like sandpaper and wood polish, any paints that you might want. There's plenty of odds and ends and supplies. You can make it look however you want it to.
He will try to do that, but ensure whatever he takes, one, he hasn't seen, and two, it is put right back where it was. Like nothing was touched.
Okay. That new cloak of elven kind comes in handy. Okay. Yeah, Margot.
I think she would spend the time reading through the rest of the books. And just getting ready for whatever's... I think she'd read the rest of the books, and then at some point she's gonna, like, vibe check herself.
Okay. That book that Yaslin found in the meeting room is a ledger. It tracks the ship's logs for where they went, what they did. The last thing was they got word of a mage doing the things that they shouldn't have. A type of warlock. And went and stormed their location and took the capsule that contained the corruption magic. And between cross-referencing the ledger and a kind of a captain's log as a separate one of those books, which is different than her journal, you find that they eventually debated and landed on they had to go to a place called the Million Belt, a sea of asteroids that they were, as far as they knew, the only ones who knew how to navigate cohesively. And they were going to hide the corruption away in there and leave it lost to space. They were intercepted. And you put this together with the details that you found on the ship. Pretty easy. They were intercepted before they could drop it off. And that's what the fight was on the ship. Do you have any questions about that? Or the events there?
There's no mention of the creep in this book?
No. None.
I would share what I read with the others. They had questions. She's gonna be looking more for, like, mentions of the creep. And any, like, anything that explains power was created.
Give me an investigation check. you're able to put together that the moment of the vampire attack was the last time anything was logged anywhere on the ship except for that dying man's written words.
Okay.
Or the man who owned the Gambler's Blade, his last words. And zero mention of the creep.
I would just share everything I'm reading with the group. Maybe they have contacts from their past lives, and maybe they don't.
Past lives?
BC before the creep.
I think the timeline in which Aeon operates is actually AC. But it stands for after creation.
I was gonna put asking the Guild of Knowledge about the vampirates as a question.
Oh, that's a
Follow-up.
good one. Okay.
Any other questions or clues that you guys are trying to find from the book? Oh, the Dogguses! Hi, sweet boy.
I can't think of any. What about you guys?
You... Margot, there's still more to read. From about 6 books or so that you guys took from the ship, you've made it through about 2.5
Damn.
by the time the ship is done, or by the time you guys reach the final Fletch.
Okay. I'll keep working on them over time, but for now, let's...
Okay. Seamus, how about you?
Do I vibe check now or later?
Oh, yeah, you can vibe check. I forgot you had said that. So go ahead.
What is it?
For you, it's a... I'm debating... I make Yaslin do insight checks and saving throws. No, I'll do the same system.
Insight makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, insight to check in and like saving throws to maintain composure. I'll give you the same system I do with Yaslin, basically. You have a more physical aspect to yours, which you are less good at, though.
It's 23 on insight. It's puppy time.
Okay.
Nice.
Margot, let me come back to yours.
Okay.
So we'll switch over to Seamus.
Yeah, Seamus. Like earlier, I was interested in getting to know the ship better. And then maybe also practicing with my sword. I don't know if I would want to practice with Yaslin or not. That sounds dangerous, but I might be up for that even.
Yeah. Yo, practice with me.
Okay. And Yaslin, besides beating on Seamus occasionally,
Listen, it's a good distraction for Yaslin. And she might give him a couple tips here and there.
give me, both of you give me 3 days worth of rollies.
What type of rolly?
Just roll a
D20s.
D20.
Just a d20.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Oh, she's progressively getting more and more distracted. 9, 8, 7.
19.
He's very distracted by something.
You beat your
He beat me at rollies.
Okay. It's kind of like, so Seamus technically like wins in points, but he walks away limping harder.
Yaslin's a little off her game, and it's very obvious, which is a like it's fine. Don't worry, she's a little off her game, but
Yaslin, roll me
oh no.
a charisma saving throw. And this does not get your +1. Okay, so a 7.
Oh no! I beat
But-
on Seamus a little too.
By the end of the 3rd day, and like Yaslin's concerned, and Seamus is not a straightforward target, which is probably Yaslin's least favorite type.
Yeah, she doesn't like the slippery ones.
Mhm. And
Two
by the time-
very different sword styles for sure. One is a rapier, which is like point of attack. The other is great sword, swinging, slashing.
It's just raw power.
mhm. By the end of the 3rd day, Yaslin's frustration in sparring reaches kind of a climax. And she turns and screams at you on the deck. And there's it sounds like 3 sets of vocal cords all vibrating at the same time. And it's enough to make you pause and grab your ears and drop your blade for a moment.
I think the moment that happens, she herself like has to do a hard check. She's like, I'm sorry, and she heads straight to her room. She's like, this is not good for me. I don't want to hurt any of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably my bad. I pushed too hard.
Yaslin's already booking it. she's evacuating that situation as fast as she can.
What do you do when you get to your room?
I think she's like, there's a lot of adrenaline pumping. She knows she's fucked up, and she's absolutely terrified in this very moment that she's going to fully lose her shit. So she like locks the door, puts the chair in front of it. She's barricading herself in as she's like trying to calm down at the same time. And I think when she finally feels like it's gonna take a lot for her to get back out of this room, she just kind of like melts to the floor. And she's not somebody who cries. So she like pulls it all in as hard as she, and she just kind of growls to herself and the chimera, and is just like, whatever the fuck you're doing right now, you better knock that shit off.
You scope inward.
Am I met with the same exact thing I have been since she's probably been trying to figure out and look at her inner world, and probably been facing the same kind of mental pushbacks and
Yeah,
shove
keep me
outs.
insight as well.
That's a 21.
Okay. I'm gonna drop it down to a 20 because
Okay, that's fair.
your +1 is for the ones that already existed. But this is the final straw that, like, you've been keeping your composure and it's not gone well.
Yeah,
And this is it. Knock it
really
the fuck
not
off.
going well. Yeah, she's like pissed at herself, and like even like has the only thing she can like really channel like her frustration and anger into this thing that's kind of flipped her entire life upside down more than it already is.
Mhm. You finally push through that wall of resistance coming from whatever is new here. And it's like a magnetized repulsion. You dig your toes into the ground. At one point, you even have to, like, fall to the floor and crawl on your hands and feet at the same time, just inching forward until there's a moment where you kind of break through and stumble forward a little bit. And you stand up. And through the darkness, you hear a chittering that tingles your spine. And you see two red, glowing, no, not two, hundreds of little red eyes forming two large compound eyes.
What the fuck?
Your eyes adjust for a moment. You can see small reflections off of dark chitin as large mandibles point forward. And without coming down to your level at all, this thing is about 14 feet tall.
What the
Head imperiously raised. Insolent maggot food. You dare to command me?
Yeah. Who do you think you are?
Silence! And that scream that you gave to Seamus comes at you this time, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh my god. Okay. That's a 15.
15. You drop to your knees,
Oh
clutching
my
your head, and just ringing in your head feels the splitting pain of vibration that feels like it's going to separate the portions of your skull. Come away, and your ears are bleeding in your hands.
Think like just like she just screams, "You don't belong here."
I belong everywhere! This universe, all of them belong to me.
Fuck are you?
Did you say who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I say, what the fuck
Okay.
are you? Not who the fuck, what
Okay.
the fuck are you? Because you are certainly not like I'm.
I am the first of the Morai. And I will have everything.
Over my dead body.
That is acceptable. And planned. You are my first conquest, child.
What have you done to my chimera?
Give me a perception check.
22.
As you look, you view into the back. And as you do, you see your chimera is there. Its head's all lulled to the side, unconscious. And this thing is expanded out of the chest of your chimera. And it seems bigger. The snake is on the ground. The other three, the dragon is lulled backwards. The lioness to the right, the goat to the left. I have put them in their place beneath me. As is the place of everything else.
I think just like she's like, now that she is grasping to some degree the situation she is in, she's like trying to pull back, like out of this, her mindscape or her soulscape or whatever. She's like, I don't think I want to be here right now. I don't think I want to be here.
Give me a charisma saving throw.
That's an 18. Oh god! It. Oh,
I accidentally rolled that privately.
oh god. What is it? Don't tell me it's a nat 20 and I'm stuck here.
20.
Oh my gosh! Oh, this
Oh
is
my god.
fantastic. Fantastically bad.
You try to start pulling back. And you kind of reach that barrier, and this time it's pushing you forward instead of backwards. And as you look back to look at it and realize that you're being repulsed, you turn back around as a large furred claw pins you to the ground. The mandibles come up and they are inches from your face. They are large, like 2 prongs of a tractor, sort of large. And it says, I am Kak, brood mother of the Morai.
What the fuck?
You belong to me. Maggot food. Margaret.
I am.
Yes. Kaiju battle between our corrupted souls
Gosh! Gosh!
on the ship as we enter Aurora's rest because we both
Oh
lose
my gosh.
control.
There's a part of me that really wants to see this kaiju battle happen.
Yaslin walked away in her safety, her barricaded room. Like everything is pushed against that door.
Mm-hmm. Margot, you had a 23, right?
Insight, yes.
Okay. What are you checking on? What's your intention?
I want to see how it changed because it consumed a hell of a lot of that corruption magic. It was just so trying to drink it up while we were there.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't a lot, per se, but
Was
any
it-
amount would have been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you have a dark, floating sensation with it pitted in front of you. This time you feel something under your feet. You look down. It's a floor. Woven out of very thin roots. Almost like one of those Japanese mats, I think they're called tatama mats. Look around and there's walls made out of the same material. Ceiling. And in front of you, there is a very long room, maybe about 12 feet wide and about 30 feet long. And sitting in that far wall is a woven window with light coming through it, with a pattern that looks like a tree, with light coming in between gaps in the roots and the branches and different portions of the trunk. And it backlights the silhouette. Roots reaching up above, but less like they're trying to reach into the storm clouds to pull energy like it did when you first met it. And more in kind of a very messy, long, slick back hairstyle. The thin, near skull-like face still exists with glowing orange pinpoints of light. And it's sitting in a chair at a desk. In a very finely tailored, and by tailored I mean woven, again from its fibrous materials, different plant pieces. A suit. With its fingers arched in a steeple, and a high, starched collar, framing it from its, what would be its collarbones, straight up to its hair. He just sits and stares at you.
So I'm
It's
picturing an
approximately-
eldritch Cillian Murphy.
I don't know what a Cillian Murphy is.
He's what's that gang show? Peaky Blinders.
Oh, Peaky Blinders.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. A little bit. I have a better reference though.
Okay.
Asbrecker from Shadow and
Oh
Bone.
my god, you made him hot. Was my favorite character in all of literature. Kaz fucking Brecker, you did the. God
Yep.
damn it.
How you gonna
Okay.
reject him now?
Not only did he make him hot, he picked my favorite fucking character ever. Awesome. Uh-huh.
Yep. So for reference, anybody that doesn't know,
Oh my goodness. Hmm.
Okay.
Well, Marco.
No, I'm getting hot. Okay. So does he have like anything, any papers or documents or any books or something on the desk, or is it just him sitting at the desk?
the desk is completely blank.
He will walk towards him. It looks like you've upgraded your look. Choosing to be more like us.
It's a nice try.
Hmm.
But not quite. You misunderstand. My progenitor is not called the World Tree for nothing. All life spawns from its fragments in one way or another.
And is
So
this the goal?
technically, you look like me.
You said when we were in that ship
Yes.
that magic would accelerate your plans.
Indeed.
Perhaps if you had been more open with what those plans were, I could have chosen differently in the moment.
Darling, I literally am your heart at this point. You can't hide your intentions or your lies.
But the problem is you can.
Indeed. That part I'll be honest about.
But you won't tell me your plans, what it is you're working towards. Using me on that path.
I'll tell you forthright. And he kind of leans forward. There's a smile on his lips, or where the cracked roots imitate the lips. And the bark splits slightly as he smiles. It's power. All of it. You see, what brought me here didn't just bring me, it brought a hell of a lot more. I was constrained to a single universe, far too small. I want it all. And I want to get well, let's just say Acorn don't want to live in Daddy's shadow no more. It's a big shadow. Not big enough.
These kings and paragons of the elementals. You know of them? These stewards and hands of the kings?
I've seen the pattern before.
You know how to
It's one
stop
of
this
many.
war?
You've seen a fraction of the history that I know. The pattern plays out in a few ways. It's possible you lose, it's possible you win, it's possible it all goes to shit. I can guide you. And every chance we get, we'll drink a little more together.
That corruption magic. Could you pull it from a source that's already been tainted? If we found a Sirius who's been overwhelmed by it, could you perhaps transfer it to me and you?
Now that's an interesting consideration. Do you know what it does? And he kind of like opens his hand, and about a marble size glob of that magic emanates from his fingers.
You're just gonna lift the like gnarled hand. Whatever it's doing, it's changing me. Or is this your work?
It's both. It takes what's already there and makes it more of whatever it is at its raw state. They call it corruption. Sounds like freedom to me. So if we come across more of this, or things like it, sure, I'll pull it in. He grabs it and clenches his fist and sucks it back in.
If you got enough of it, would you be able to become yourself? This in the material world? Is that your goal? To be
It's
able
not
to walk
necessary.
amongst us?
It's a step towards the goal.
What becomes of me if you reach that point? If you are my heart?
It stares at you for a moment. You ever heard of someone slicing off a limb from a tree or a plant? Putting it in water, soil, and it becomes a new version of the same plant.
Yes.
You need me to survive, and I mean that quite literally. Pretty soon that won't be the case for me. Now, that doesn't mean I'm gonna kill you, unless you give me reason. What it does mean is that I'll simply separate a portion of myself off, and that can walk. And this old heart of yours, just keep doing what it's doing. Ba-bum, bum. Ba-ba-bum.
I'm
Ba-ba-bum.
gonna look down at her gnarled hand. And what will I become?
What you wanted when you reached out to me. Power. You will become power. The more that I grow, the more access you have to what I have.
When we find this serious, see what we can do about siphoning that magic off of him. And let's see if we can do it while sparing the man with it. A life that is power too.
We'll see what we can do, but I make no promises. Very well could be that ripping out the corruption from him would be like ripping out 9/10 of who he is or what his body has become. If you want me to rip away 9/10 of a person and see what's left, I'll try. The results could vary. I'm not saying that's what will happen, but it is a possibility you need to be prepared for.
It may be our only option.
Perhaps. Sounds like we have another accord, Miss Svarad.
Not seem I have many options in this.
Never do you? Always with your wall to your back.
I will do what has to be done to get justice for my brother. Destroy the organization. But the imminent war with fire and water takes precedent. Do you understand?
Perfectly. I admit I lost my cool a bit upon that ship. I got enough of what I needed at the moment. But you cannot imagine the prize that we left behind. I got a little anxious. And now that I am closer to myself, I'm feeling much more collected. Your timeline is a blink to me. We can go about whatever you need to do first.
You losing yourself is a problem.
Me losing it, or you?
I know you heard what Tyus made Yaslin from.
Quiet.
Pull that shit again. That's it.
Could be interesting to see how that ends up.
Do you know of what she holds within her?
I know as much as you.
I
Maybe
don't think you would like-
something new.
Oh, I don't think you would like to face it before your plans are set.
Patience. I can wait. Until
I guess we
then,
will see.
we'll see. It is a pleasure doing business with you.
She's just gonna try to snap out of it.
No resistance.
Wow.
Great.
And that is where we will end for the night.